Greetings, sports fans, socios in particular. We have 20 goals. I don't know why I was speaking like Laurence Olivier there. We have 20 goals in 9 bonkers matches for you this Monday. It's all about heads today. And I mean that in the best possible taste. Because there are, for your delectation, soaring headers. There's the king of the head cases. There's the head-to-head. There's losing the head. There's a head of the queue. Yeah, I'm stretching this a little bit. And there's a head start to happiness. So maybe, on with the show. Madrid 2, Rayo 1. King of the head cases to start with. Marca's titled coverage of this game was chaos, embarrassing, but Real Madrid are kings of the lunatic asylum. That's exactly what they said. There was a monumental whistling and jeering of individual players, the team. Arbeloa also got a lot of jeering. But we begin with a fabulous goal. And I think, in my case at least, Jamie, Pete, we tried to be really judicious about when we put the boot into refereeing standards and atrocious decisions. So why not praise the referee in this game, Diaz, when early in the game there's a big sliding, thumping tackle which puts Arbeloa to ground in the middle of a move. The referee is right on top of it, sees there's an advantage, plays the advantage when the Bernabeu's howling for a foul. Arda thinks, come on, ref, I've been taken out, which he was. Brahim pounces on it, and off goes Vinicius for what proved the 1-0 goal. A double shuffle, Ratu lost, top corner goal, a big celebration, and everything looked like sunshine, but it genuinely wasn't. So having praised Vinicius, Brahim, who we'll praise again, and the referee, things didn't... that was a spark, but it didn't catch fire. So, for example, Bellingham sprinting on a through ball down the right, whiplash pain in the back of his thigh, off looking like he's in tears, and out for a month is the general consensus from what Madrid have said today. They've investigated, they've looked at it, even after things have died down a little bit. It looks like a deep tissue hamstring injury, which is going to take a month to heal. Is he back in time for England's internationals in March? Well, maybe, but that's still to be determined. What marked this game was shambolic play. That's why Marca said that Madrid were kings of the lunatic asylum, because Madrid played really, really badly. Now they win, spoiler. How they win is something we'll come to in a second. But the passes are astray. And I am not deliberately trying to swim against the tide. When you know you're right to begin with, he said fanatically, that players who've had one bad pre-season, you can't repair it during the season, not properly. When players, and I mean the core number of Real Madrid players, have had 2 bad pre-seasons, far too short, are unprepared, and you've no gas in the tank, what happens is attention to detail, confidence, ability to assimilate new ideas, ability to roll with stress, ability to be bang, 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 on it every week. That's the thing that goes first. Their attitudes don't disappear, their talent doesn't disappear. And throughout this game, Madrid kept trying at least. They made Rayo, a team in a desperate slump, look pretty good. Rayo's goal was absolutely lovely. A really nice knockdown and a nick in from Jorge de Frutos in front of Tchouaméni, and Rayo's top scorer struck off his left foot. But what the crowd got increasingly mad about was when Kylian Mbappe, set up by Arda, goes racing past Batalla, his shot hits the bar. When the ball comes in nicely to Camavinga from Ceballos, if I remember correctly, Camavinga heads off the post. And as it becomes clearer and clearer that Madrid are struggling and may not get a winner, and Rayo are making chances, and Courtois is having the star again, the whistling and the jeering and the anger increases. That's the theatrical bit. That's the momentary thing. What we're seeing week in, week out is that on a good week against a team that's sluggish, Madrid can still look really powerful. On a bad week, they look shambolic all over the place. And that's the thing that you do not, no matter who you are, correct just like this. Post-match, Arbeloa said, well, I'm not Gandalf, the White Wizard. And he certainly fucking isn't. At the moment, it's a victory because what happens is Pathsis gets sent off for a horrendous tackle on Ceballos. By the end, Chavarria gets sent off for pushing Rodrigo into an advertising hoarding. I really want to pay tribute to Cis coming away from the Bernabeu mix zone. He's called back and he kind of stops and turns. He's a decent fella, champion of Europe, and is asked if it's a penalty or not, a red card or not. And he says, well, look, I didn't think so. But when he gets back home and looks at it in replay, his tackle on Ceballos, he immediately takes to social media and says, look, in sport, you never want to do damage. I didn't think it was a red card. I've looked at it again. It definitely was. I want to apologise to Ceballos. Ceballos immediately gets on social media. These things happen in football. I mean, I love a row. Everybody loves bad blood. I do too. But when you see two fellas like that and a stamp on Ceballos' ankle that could have put him out for months, didn't, thank goodness. I really enjoyed the way that the two of them kind of made their peace there. So in the end, it's a ball in from Tchouaméni, a set up from Mbappe, Brahim on the move. I really sympathise for Brahim. He's such a nice kid, and if he's not a world-class footballer, he's an important footballer. He's an inventive, energetic footballer, and that penalty miss against Senegal will haunt him for a long time. There's been a lot of shit spoken about that final and Morocco's behaviour. What remains is that he was trying to score. He'd have been a superhero had it gone in. It didn't. They lose eventually. And Arbeloa seems to have recuperated him with Bellingham out. There could be more game time. There will be more game time for Brahim. He was very important here, very clearly fouled. It's just a lunatic asylum penalty. It's a comic penalty. It's absolutely spot on. What happens is the on-loan defender from Betis, Mondi, kicks the ball with his foot he's trying to stand with, takes a swipe with his right foot. Because he's kicked the ball away, swipes at fresh air and kicks Brahim in the chest. There's absolutely no question that it's a foul. There's absolutely no question that the game had merited 9 minutes of added time. Madrid score Mbappe's 11th, Madrid's 11th penalty of the season. This is the most, it's 11 in 22 games. This is the most that Madrid have ever had, any La Liga side has ever had at this stage of the season. So he ducks it away. His scoring spree goes on. Rayo now have a couple of players suspended for the next match. Wow, it's very messy. And now, over to Antonio Pintos. Athletic 1-1 La Real. Here's the head-to-head as promised. Guedes, when the goal comes to open the scoring for La Real, who are on such a run of momentum at the moment, Guedes is firstly fouled really nastily. From the free kick, he's on the edge of the box, makes a run in, nods the cross from Soler. Unai Simon makes maybe the save of the match. It's absolutely brilliant. Goes out for a corner. And from the corner, it's played to Guedes, who does the hokey-cokey. He doesn't control it all that well at first. He does a 180 degrees turn when he doesn't need to. Should have given the Athletic defender time to close him down. He doesn't. And the right foot shot into the side panel of Unai Simon's goal is absolutely fantastic. La Real look as if they're going to run away with the game, and there's something to be said about the poor old Athletic crowd. San Mamés was absolutely bursting at the seams, but to quote Kevin Rowland and Dixie's Midnight Runners in Come On Eileen, if you look at the faces of the fans in red and white, these people round here wear beaten down eyes, sunken, smoke-dried faces. They're resigned to what their fate is. They're not angry. They absolutely know that every Athletic man, including Valverde, is giving his all. And yet there's an indolence, there's a tiredness, there's a resignation. Gradually, younger players are being introduced. They're taking a risk with the Canteranos. And in the end, they'll equalise here. Spoiler again. Nico Williams is an awful worry with the World Cup not that far away right now. He's in a clutch of players, including Marino, who's now going for an operation that will leave it tight for him to be back in time for the World Cup. Nico Williams has got the same problem as Lamine Yamal does, pubalgia, a growing pain, growing strain. Lamine's treatment, which caused him to miss a couple of Spain matches and caused a row between Spain and Barcelona, seems to have worked. Why aren't they doing that with Nico Williams? Athletic are still in the cup. I wonder if Athletic go out, who have never been relegated, but they're within the creeping, cold, clawing grasp of relegation right now. If they go out of the cup this week, if they do they take a risk? Do they give him an operation? Do they mimic the treatment, the non-invasive treatment that has helped Lamine Yamal so much? He's a problem. What happens in the end of this match is ugly, really ugly, to begin with at least. Paredes pushes Brais Mendes. Brais Mendes just kind of lets his hand go out at all. And if the tip of one of his nails touches the bristles on Paredes' chin, then I'm surprised if there's even that much contact. And it's Brais Mendes who gets red carded. He gets red carded and VAR backs it up. It's inexplicable. It's wrong. La Real down to 10 men. But eventually we see a Ricky Villa at Wembley, Spurs Manchester City goal to win it. Ruiz de la Galarreta gets off on a trot. It's absolutely superb. He's going this way and that way, bends it right-footed, past Ramiro's left hand. Ramiro having had a really good game. And it's an equaliser of absolute sublime class. They can't really score goals all that easily, Athletic. So when a midfielder who doesn't often score pops up with a Ricky Villa moment, then all hail that. But 11v10 was wrong at that stage of the match. Here's one thing, head-to-head. La Real won their part of the derby 3-2 at Anoeta. Now that it's 1-1 at San Mamés, if these two sides finish equal on points, which is not beyond the bounds of the possibilities, the Churiurdin have the head-to-head advantage over Los Leones. Now look, this is where I want to say to you, please help us. Socios, thank you for being with us. This is free content. Maybe you find it interesting. How could I know? How will I tell? How can I be sure? It's a great song. Off to Bavaria tomorrow to interview Luis Diaz at Bayern Munich. I'll be at Saberner Strasse. The interview itself is sacrosanct. I can't give you film chunks of that because that belongs to the people who sent me there. But I'll be able to give you a little diary of what it's like at Saberner Strasse, what it's like being welcomed by Bayern Munich, setting up for an interview, give you a little feel of what the mood is there. Luis Diaz scored at the weekend, as did Harry Kane, in a 2-2 draw for Bayern Munich. Support us. Be with us. Don't pay for the flight or for the hotel. Just pay £3.99 a month or 30 quid, which will take you through all the way to the middle of the summer after the World Cup. Revista de la Liga brings you to live match analysis, gives you this magazine every weekend. On a Thursday, we preview the weekend. Pete Jensen and I, Jamie Easton, Mr. La Liga TV, who was at that mad Benfica Real Madrid game last week. We try and bring you specialist design content, interact with you, answer your questions, have fun, hopefully. Have fun. Have a laugh now and again, put up with my mad sense of humour. Become a socio, tell your friends, spread the word, ask them to support Revista de la Liga on Substack. You can see the description here, you can see the link how to do it. Please come and join us. Elche 1, Barca 3. Did a live after this one, but this one is head of the queue because Barcelona stay top of La Liga, and I'm reliably informed by the enemy, by the opposition, Phil Kutramalides, that this is the highest XG since XG was invented. That holy, happy day, right? Right? Fuck XG. But nonetheless, this is a record. Lately, I've been gallivanting on about Lamine Yamal, and I'm not going to stop. He was man of the match against Copenhagen. He was player of the month for December in La Liga. He was man of the match here in this crazy win over Elche. And I want to pinpoint the moment when Lewandowski's high, ice-capped ball over to the wing looks like going out of play. But Lamine keeps his balance, keeps his vision, judges it perfectly, and then nods the ball forward before it can go out to keep it in play. And it's most definitely not out. And he sets up that way, sets up the third goal for Rashford, puts the game out of Elche's reach because it was not at that stage out of their reach. It's magical. And it's going to be on Lamin's showreel when he retires, hopefully in 15, 18 years or so, with all the trophies there are to win. P.S. I spent a happy hour with Tim Lee and Victor Emigros interviewing Pedri on Thursday. And I can let you know that Barcelona's midfield is in great nick. He loves talking about football and analysing his own game and his own movements. He's a happy fella in general. His recuperation is going well. And that was another top experience. These are the things that I will try to bring you as you become a socio of Revista de la Liga. Betis 2, Valencia 1. A couple of notes on Los Verdiblancos beating Los Che. Paul Lopez, not as good a keeper, had been edging out Valles in the Betis goal over the last couple of matches. And Manuel Pellegrini was clear about why. Valles, restored for this match, saves a penalty from Joselu. Well done, that turned the match. As far as Valencia are concerned, Danjuma, who's spent most of his career in Spain, looking like a competition winner. I'm sorry to be rude, Arno, but you have. Suddenly he's formed a promising little relationship with new Argentinian striker Beltran. They seem to be on the same wavelength. Let's see what that yields, what it leads to. Chimmy, he wouldn't let go, smashed a penalty for 1-1. And then by far, Betis player of the season, by an infinite distance, Paulo Fornals nicked the winner after Diosa turned winger, and his breaching, careering run set up the late goal, which sent Pellegrini mental. He lost his shit, well, by his standards, leaping and dancing, arms in the air, which you almost never see. Now Betis host Atleti in the Copa del Rey. La Cartuja is full of fun and full of business. Oviedo 1, Girona 0. Here is the head. It's on the theme. People don't say it's not. Here is the head start to happiness. Because since Almada arrived to coach Oviedo, they have been playing in a manner which merited a win or maybe two. This time it came. There was a momentary injection of class, pure class, from Santi Cazorla, the Santa Claus. Width, he won space. Ilias scored at the back post, and not only does the Carlos Tartiere go Oscar Wilde, Santi has nothing to declare but his genius. Football in a phone box for a guy who's nearly 41. It's the second Girona game for Marc-Andre ter Stegen, and no win yet. No shots on target for Michel's men either. Madness. Could they borrow some of Barcelona's unneeded shots on goal? Phone call. Love you. Anyway, Levante 0, Atleti 0. This is the head clash one. Fervent best wishes to Alex Surlot, who took the most sickening blow to the head in a collision with Matias Moreno. Another meh performance from Atleti, and I'll draw your attention to a fella called Ruben Uria, a fanatical Atleti supporter in the broadcast and written media, and somebody who purports to be absolutely on the inside of Atleti gossip. He doesn't get many wrong, but he says that Atleti general manager Mateo Alemán has begun lining up Marcelino to take over from Cholo Simeone. Yeah, that's what you heard, not my story, Ruben Urias, because the Argentinian has allegedly told the owners at Atleti that he's off at the end of this season. Much though he's been like a cold beer in the burning hot desert for Atleti since he joined, and overall, that is the case. Gross rather than net, it's been brilliant for Cholo to be at Atleti, but it's long, long overdue that they sought freshness of ideas, freshness and modernisation of coaching style, freshness of play, and broke out of the Simeone-sized rut that they've been in since they won the title. Levante's run of grabbing points and looking strong does continue. Valuable point for them. Rayo 0, Celta 0. Towards the end of this grim match, Bordalas made changes, and the normally ultra-loyal, although ultra-long-suffering Getafe fans at the Alfonso Perez Coliseum began to give him the bird. They began to whistle and groan and moan. Now, asked about this fact post-match, Bordalas said, well, if the board thinks I'm the problem, then they know exactly what to do. Well, from your mouth to their ears, Jose. Not an edifying man. Not an edifying brand of football. Time for change there too. Editorializing, I'm sorry, but it's what I believe. Aye, further evidence that they've invested in an interesting couple of South American strikers was there, Satriano and Diaz. Come on, Getafe, let's have some football from you, however it is. Osasuna 2, Villarreal 2. Finally, here are those headed goals. Poor old Rafa Marin, man mountain in the heart of the Villarreal defence, a centre-half, got monstered in this match. He's bigger than both Budimir, if Budimir was your auntie, Bob would be your uncle, and Victor Munoz, especially bigger than Victor Munoz, but they both nodded in cracking cabezazos, great headers. Munoz, again, throughout the match, showed that he's a candidate to wriggle into the Spain squad if any of Luis de la Fuente's old guard, the old favourites, are injury hampered. Gerard Moreno ain't no up-and-coming spring chicken, but nonetheless, he's not a tyro, but he does try though. 2 goals, 1 a penalty off his left foot for the first, and a front post glancing header for 2-2. He's building form. He's building consistency, and he's starting to add regular goals. Now remember, folks, he used to be Spain's starting centre-forward too. Any chance? Probably not, but you never know. Finally, from Friday night, Espanyol 1, Alaves 2. The Pericos mini slump continues because losing at home in front of their owner wasn't on the script, particularly after big Bobby Fernandez put them 1-up with another towering, smashing, cracking, Bosch-style header. The crowd was noisy, they had momentum, and it was time for a revival and 3 basic points at home. But the lead lasted 8 minutes. That's a problem. Antonio Blanco, boshing from outside the box. A really kind of scruffy goal going through people, and Dimitris couldn't see it. And I bet Terry Gibson is going radio rental about this one. The winner comes because Chacho Caudet is getting rewards from his decision, finally, to much more often play with 2 strikers, Boyer and Tony Martinez. Last week, they provided, respectively, a goal and an assist in a 2-1 win over Betis. This time, it was Martinez roistering Espanyol captain Cabrera for an assist to Boye, who slid home the winner into an open goal. Well done for playing 2 strikers, Coudet. Now, folks, on to the Copa del Rey for many of these players, for many of you, and off to Munich for me, after commentating on Sevilla and Mallorca tonight. Thanks for being there. Viva Revista de la Liga.